Hey folks, it's Matt once again, and this time I want to talk about a film that I know was requested for me, I think from Springwood ElmStreet, The Gate. And after this I'll probably review The Gate 2 as well, which is not as good, but I want to talk about The Gate. I don't like this cover art, because who the fuck is that kid? I've never seen that kid before. Is that Stephen Dorff? That kid's not in the movie with this modern flashlight and sandals and bullshit, but whatever. And it's a special edition that's not that special. Commentary with the filmmakers, okay. The writer, director, and the effects guys, okay. But 10 or so minute from two of the special effects guys, about 10-15 minutes on the writer and director. That's pretty much it. I love how it says all new cast and crew interviews. There is no cast interviews. I was wondering, I'm not alone in this review. But anyway, there's no cast interviews, so they lied to you on the fucking DVD. But The Gate is a very solid film from, I believe, 1987. Very low budget film. I think this film kind of got popular because it came out the same week as Ishtar, and Ishtar had this hype with, Dustin Hoffman, Warren Beatty. It was going to be this big film, like this $40 million production, and this film came out the same week and beat the shit out of Ishtar, so it got a lot of publicity from that. And, great, I haven't seen Ishtar, but I can almost bet it deserves it because this is a very enjoyable film. It stars Stephen Dorff, and pretty much the film that his breakthrough role, to be honest, one of his first roles. Basically, he's this kid, and he has this buddy, played by Louis Tripp, who would be the lead in the second film. And Louis Tripp didn't go on to do much. In fact, the last credit he had was in 1999 as uncredited nerdy kid in Detroit Rock City. But you can't see it too well. Stephen Dorff is... You can't see it that well, I know, but Stephen Dorff is the little kid. Of course, that is Stephen Dorff, who would be the bad guy in Blade, among many other films. But yeah, he has his buddy, played by Louis Tripp, and Stephen Dorff also has his parents, his older sister. And basically starts out with Stephen Dorff has his dream where he gets in his tree house and it crashes, it's struck by lightning, and he wakes up and it's happened. And he goes by, and in this backyard, there's this weird little hole that's come up because the tree has been knocked down. And he finds, like, sort of these geodes, these rocks with these crystals in it. And talks with his friend about his friend, the Louis Tripp character, Terry. That character, his mom has died. His dad's kind of always away on business. This kid, the Louis Tripp kid, the buddy Stephen Dorff, not always, but it really reminds me of one of my best friends, Mike, OCP Communications. Just look-wise, also with the glasses and the fact that he's in the heavy metal, got the heavy metal t-shirt. I don't know why, but this kid, you can't see that well, but this kid always reminded me of Mike. No, OCP Communications. I kept looking. Not so much the sequel, because to be honest, I think Mike would have more sense than this character does in the sequel. But in this film, both likable kids, and they look at this stuff, and Stephen Dorff's parents are going to be gone for a few days, so his older sister's going to be in charge. And there's this party, and Stephen Dorff kind of gets persuaded to participate in this levitation, which he actually does levitate and hits the ceiling, and he freaks out a little bit. Then the Louis Tripp character Terry in the middle of the night sees his mom, who, like I said, has passed away, and hugs her, and when he falls back, it's the Stephen Dorff's dog, who's found dead, and they attribute it to old age. And the oldest sister is going to go out with her friends, and apparently one of her friends is going to deal with the dog, but the vet's closed, so of course, he puts it in the hole. And apparently, the Louis Tripp character finds he has like heavy metal albums, and apparently that talks about how My cat, sorry, my cat wants to talk about the... What do you think about this movie? Stunned in silence of greatness. Long story short, they look at the heavy metal album. The Loose Trip character talks about how, you know, this band made this album, and how they talked about this thing called the gate, and the symbols kind of matches symbols they've seen before, and how you put the record backwards, it'll play the incantation of how to dispel them, and how you need all this stuff, like blood, which Stephen Dorff's character gets cut by a sliver. You need a sacrifice, which the dumbass friend of his older sister put the dog in the hole. And I think what I like about this film, I like the fact it's concentrated on one location. I think it works in this instance. On the fact that it takes place in just a regular person's backyard. And it's really, it doesn't dive into this whole mystery of, oh, how was this, why here, and oh, the ancient, Like, you don't need a lot of backstory. It's not needed in this movie. It's just, there's a, you know, we can all relate. You know, a lot of us have backyards, and what if there was a gateway to hell in our backyard? What would we do? So you kind of relate to that, and the kids are I think, solid. I think Loose Trip and Stephen Dorff do a great job. They're likable. I like how he's talking to one of his sister's friends, and this guy's a horrible actor, the friend. So he was talking about the levitation, the guy's like, it was just an illusion. I love Stephen Dorff saying, fag. But he does one of those things where, well, you little, it's like, he gives a fag, and then runs away like a little kid would do. Just made me laugh. But long story short, basically because the dog's been put in that hole, the two kids, the older sister and these two other girls who have gone by, crazy shit starts happening. Apparently the parents come home, and Stephen Dorff's choked out and goes at his dad, and his dad's face caves in. They try to call, and the phone melts. They're trying to like read the Bible and stuff, and Loose Trip, or I should say Mike gets too close. It falls down the thing. And there's like all these like little minions about this big that you see throughout. And Mike gets bit on the shoulder and stuff, and he gets out. Stephen Dorff helps Mike out. I know I keep calling him Mike now. Why not? He is a lot like Michael's, at least in this movie. In the sequel, but and basically they're going through all this shit, and they think they've closed it, but then the zombie workman crashes through, grabs Mike, and puts him into the wall. And Stephen goes to his sister, and there's a lot of imagination, and they had a low budget, but the special effects are pretty good. You have some stop motion effects, which I don't know, stop motion in this film, I think worked. It gave it more of a, what's that word called? Charming. Gave it a charm to it. The sequel has some bad effects. This one, though, I thought had better effects than the sequel. Really enough. And the stop motion effects were charming. They have certain charm to them that, I don't know, CGI don't. I don't know why. I know it's a strange thing. But like when I'm talking about imagination, like they have the workman zombie going after the sister and Stephen Dorff. Sister hits it, and when it falls, as it hits the ground, it turns to a bunch of these little minions that looks at them. Well, long story short, the sister gets taken, and Stephen Dorff has to have a final battle with this gigantic creature inside his house. And long story short, uses this rocket, which is kind of a symbolism of, you know, something he's going to give to his sister, or something his sister had given to him, I forget which, and uses this model rocket. Well, it sounds silly, but, it makes sense. It's something that symbolizes love, but it's not done too sappy or over the top. And then by the end of the day, pretty much everybody, when Stephen Dorff stopped it, everybody comes back alive. In like a minute after. And some people may groan about that. I didn't mind that, because I guess the writer, when he first, and the writer is, what is it? He wrote the sequel too, Michael Nankin, who went on to write and direct like some of the newer Star Galactica stuff, some Terminator Sarah Connor Chronicles, Eureka, a lot of TV stuff. When he first saw this, he imagined more scarier, more adult, R-rated film. But then when the director, Tibor Takács, who, after this, he didn't go on to do much. I mean, he did the sequel. Apparently, this film was a big enough hit that, and popular, Tibor Takács, the director, was offered Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4, but he turned it down because he said he didn't have enough time. But Rennie Harlan came in, and now Rennie Harlan got to do Cliffhanger and Die Hard 2. While Tibor Takács is getting to do Spiders 3D. That's how it goes sometimes, but, what was I going to say? But when Tibor Takács died, they went more for PG-13, and it works fine as a PG-13. I don't think this needed to be R. Some things do, and yes, I know about the remake, or the Gate 3D that Alex Winter, Bill and Ted is going to direct, and apparently H.R. Giger might do some designs, and I don't know about that, I don't know, but, the Gate, it's an enjoyable film watching it again. It's one of those films I don't talk about, like, but when I watch it again, I'm like, wow, this is really solid. Although I will admit, the DVD isn't too much to run home about. If you have the original DVD with the better artwork, you might as well keep that. I mean, you know, it's not that much of an upgrade, in my opinion. I mean, I was curious about the features. They don't get in the cast, which is a shame. I like to see what Louis Tripp or Stephen Dorff have to say about the film, but that's how it goes. But anyway, The Gate, it's an enjoyable film. It shows what you can do on a low budget. I like the story. It's a story we can relate to. You know, we have a backyard. What if something's in our backyard? The kids are likable. They're not annoying. The film moves at a fast pace. It's 85 minutes long. That's with credits. A lot better pace than the sequel, which I'll get to. I don't like the sequel at all. I had the DVD, but I don't like it. But The Gate, it's fun. It's entertaining. It's imaginative. It shows what you can do on a low budget. And you have likable kids. I like the central location helps a lot. I like the score. Has a really good score. Has some decent makeup effects by Craig Reardon. The score, Michael Honig and J. Peter Robinson, they did a solid job. I really don't have any problems with it, other than I wish the DVD would have been nice to get like Stephen Dorff or even Louis Tripp or the girl who played the sister. I think Krista Denton, yeah, it's Al, which is the sister's name. Would have been nice to hear from them, but overall, I really enjoy The Gate. If you haven't seen it, if you like horror films from the 80s, definitely worth a pickup. I guess you might as well get this because you'll probably find this pretty cheap while the other one's probably discontinued, so you might as well. But anyway, The Gate is definitely an enjoyable film. Unfortunately, the sequel kind of sucks. But anyway, thanks for watching and take care. Later.